This movie was brought to you by DwayneWright.com, FileMaker Framework Solutions, virtual one-on-one FileMaker training, consulting, and custom design services. For more information, please visit www.DwayneWright.com.
Hello everyone, this is Dwayne, and I wanted to share with you a FileMaker example file that was prompted from a reader's email that sent to me. And I wish I could take more of the emails and work on solutions for folks, but time and that type of thing. But this one, I had some free time and it sounded kind of interesting, and I wanted to explore a little bit of the different options, and so here we go. The email says, "Hi, my name is Nathan. I'd like to thank you for the tutorials that saved my sanity a few times." Yay! And I love to hear that type of thing. I'm not a heavy FileMaker user. It's more of a hobby. My living is made in sound design for TV and film. And then if we go down a little bit farther, then he talks about how he's stumped. He's trying to make a timesheet layout for income tracking. It's basically set up as simple as possible for the user. And he wants to make it to where they can just enter in a number, and then a pull-down list would give them the AM or PM options. And there's a lot of different ways, and he put down here a time calc that he had done using the self function and the let, and there's a lot of different ways to go about this, and it's whichever developer feels best about it. I kind of kicked it old school on this one, so this is just one way to go about it, and it seemed to work for the most part. So let's go ahead and take a look at the coding real quick. So what I did here is to create a list view and a few extra fields just to help illustrate the technique that I used. We are using a self relationship to populate a value list. Well, the values do have to exist. So that is going to be one limitation of using a relationship based here. If the data doesn't exist somewhere, then you're not going to have it available in the value list. So that may be a different option or a different thing that you'd want to go through there. But in this case, using a self relationship, we assume that if we enter in 9:15, that there are previous entries in there for a 9:15 a.m. and a 9:15 p.m. And if you're doing a timesheet and you say that you enter your time in 15-minute increments, over a short period of time, you will probably have every variation. So this will work in those instances. And you can see that, so we have a previous instance where the time entry is 9:15 p.m., one for 9:15 a.m., and then we have an entry of just 9:15, and if we go down to the pull-down menu, we see the 9:15 a.m. and p.m. as options. So let's take a look under the hood. I guess the first thing to do is to take a look at our fields. So let's go and define database. And we have just the one table, of course. So we're using a self relationship. And I've entered in 3 fields. Basically, this is your data entry field, which is a text field, not a time field. So that presents some challenges for searching. So if you're wanting to find time cards between 9:15 a.m. and 10:15 a.m., that search will have to be crafted separately, some sort of save search that brings that value back and saves it at a time and then brings the user back. We needed to do that for the tenants of the relationship, because when you're using the filter functions and things like that, those are text-based calculations, and then you don't want to mismatch your relationship between a time field and a text field. So then anyway, then I created a companion field called time entry filtered, and let's bring that on up. And again, all I did was filter what was entered in for the time to just have the numerical values. So if they would happen to put in AM or PM or a colon or any other type of thing, we're going to strip that away and just get the numeric values that go across. And then also we use a calculation to get the time entry as a time value. So we'll show how that comes into play. I believe that was for a display. We'll take a look. So then our relationship, what I've done is say that we'll have to double click in there. So the very first level of the entry says that I want the time entry equal to the time entry filtered. So these two values will pull across. So if I enter in 9:15, if I have a filtered option of 9:15, I see it. But then I added in a secondary relationship that says if the time entries match exactly, don't show them. And then I did that so that the 9:15 that we entered without, the AM or PM doesn't show. So you don't see 9:15 AM, 9:15 PM, and 9:15, only. So that secondary relationship helps filter out what are their exact matches, because I'm looking for the AM and PM type of things. So what I'm saying is that when I enter in 9:15, I want to match to any records that have the exact same data. And then when they match, I want to see what's in here, excluding if it's an exact match. And it works out pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. So even if we say, well, okay, Dwayne, I just don't trust you, let's go ahead and go in and we'll do a new record. And we type in 9:15. And then we hit our pull down. You'll see that it doesn't work. And again, that's going to be a variation in this because the field hasn't been committed as of yet. So if we tab out and then go back in, now we see our 9:15 and 9:15 AM and 9:15 PM. Now the committing action, you can handle that a number of ways. A script trigger would probably be one of the best ones, is to on field modify, commit the record, come back to the record, and go back into the same field. And you could do a loop like that. I didn't test it out, but I would assume that it would work. And it's possible that would go into a loop, but there's a number of ways that you could do the commit. Or if they go into the next field, you could do what probably you could do too is have a script trigger, commit the record, go to the next field, and then come back. That would probably get us out of the loop, and that would be on a field modify type of thing. So that would probably work as well. I didn't test it out, so your mileages may vary. All I wanted to do was to build that pull-down menu. So if we go, and again, just to kind of show the limits on this, so if I would put in 9:30, all right, and then commit the record and do a pull-down, there is nothing because there has not been a 9:13 AM and PM. And again, that's part of the limitation that you're going to have with a self relationship. So then if I do that as a 9:30 and then go in and do a new record and then go in here and do 9:30, commit the record and go back in, now you see that we have an AM as an option. And you could even trap for this. It just depends on how much coding you want to do. And I would, if you do these examples or do want to do this coding, I would stress heavily, do it just the way I did it here. Create a new FileMaker file, put in just the fields, do your testing on everything like that, do all your experiments. Don't do it in the file that you're going to upload if you have anything challenging. Once you get the code working there, or you know what doesn't work, then take some of that code and then bring it back over to your solution before you upload it and share it to your customers or your users. So that's it for now, and I do appreciate letting me share this with you.
Do you have questions or comments about the video you just saw? Please feel free to email me at info@dwaynewright.com. Thank you.